Hello, everybody, and welcome to the news you missed. I'm Paul Brooker, and today is the 12th of September 2025. 2 days has now passed since Charlie Kirk was fatally shot in Utah on a university campus. I'm going to pass over to Warren. How are you? And give us the latest update on the Charlie Kirk situation.
Yeah, sure. I'm fine, thank you. Well, the fallout from Charlie Kirk being assassinated. They now have a suspect, and he didn't fly off on a plane, and but all the rest of the things that we told you that he didn't. He is at large in America. They are trying to arrest him. They've released pictures of him, and of course they're trying to track him down. They found the weapon. They found boot prints and everything else that was needed of course, and poor old Charlie Kirk is no longer with us. It's right. It's absolutely dreadful that there are books that people have got up on ChatGTP within 24 hours and trying to make money out of it is quite disgraceful. The thing that is coming very clear here is once again, this is an issue where we have had trans shooters before, and it looks very much as the preliminary investigation shows that we've got one again. And of course, this is something that is happening across America so often that this is now becoming its own pandemic, Paul. And people have to wake up to the fact that the conspiracy is this, that they've pushed this in schools and they've pushed this in colleges to where people have lost their minds and they are on psychotic drugs. And when they can't accept themselves and they can't get you to accept them, basically they blame you, and then eventually one of them snaps and does something like this. Now, the worst thing about this is they're pushing this in schools and colleges, Paul, and this is where the violence is happening. These people aren't trans, they are psychotically, mentally ill, and they belong in an institution and not on the streets. And the fact that the Democrats and the left have done this to the whole of society is quite disgraceful.
Now, I'm just going to add something here because we talked off camera, Warren, didn't we,
Yes,
about this? They're also on medication as well. So they
yes,
already doubt who they are. Then they get put on God knows what drugs. My God, they need monitoring if they're going to go through this because you wouldn't let them loose on antipsychotic drugs or hormone drugs or anything like that. And this far left woke agenda is totally out of hand now. Five assassination attempts and successful now in a year. In a
yeah,
year now from the far left woke. It's got
yeah.
to stop. It really
And
has.
And the problem that we also have there, Paul, is you have to remember that the drug companies are just as culpable in this because they are making for every person who says they're trans, if they go through the lifetime of all the beta blockers and everything else that they need to transition, the medical profession get $1.2 million per person for doing this. So people are the medical profession and some of these people out there we should be very angry at because they are pushing this agenda. They are causing these psychotic episodes. And sooner or later, you see, these are the psychological problems that they have where they need help is very, very straightforward. These people can't accept what they are themselves. And when you won't accept them, that's what their trigger is. And of course, they're given antipsychotic drugs, which actually cause the adverse reaction because they're not psychotic in the first place.
I couldn't agree more, Warren. Moving on to the rest of the news because there has been a lot going on. Obviously, Charlie Kirk is the main story, but the trial has begun for Ryan Routh, the 59-year-old accused of plotting to shoot Donald Trump at the Florida golf course during last year's election campaign. In an unusual move, Routh is representing himself. He faces charges including attempted assassination, assaulting a federal officer, and firearms violations, carrying a potential life sentence. Routh was arrested last September after a Secret Service agent spotted a rifle aimed at the course. The trial was expected to last 2 to 4 weeks, though Routh's opening statements already veered off topic, prompting the judge to move forward with witnesses. We're going to keep a close eye on this one, Warren, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely, because Ryan Routh had huge ties to Ukraine and Zelensky and the neo-Nazis out there. And of course, we will keep a great lid on this because, of course, as long as this is going on, there's going to be more people that will cause a threat to President Trump. Somebody that will cause a threat to President Trump, if they are not reined in very shortly, I honestly believe is Keith Kellogg. Now we have a problem with Keith Kellogg, Paul Brooker, because the drone attack that supposedly happened in Poland. Let's get into this. So very simply, what happened in Poland was these drones flew from Russia apparently into the airspace. Now they didn't have any bombs on board into Polish airspace, and Poland went mildly potty. Now the problem is these drones only have a 700-kilometer range, so they couldn't have got from Russia all the way across Ukraine and into Poland. It's just absolutely impossible. So it had to be a false flag. Now, when you get into that false flag, and here's a nice conspiracy theory for everybody, which turns out to be fairly true. Keith Kellogg's daughter is a woman called Megan Moobs. She runs a literally an NGO which helps, shall we say, mercenary soldiers fighting, American mercenary soldiers fighting against Russia, and many of them are based in Poland. Now, on top of this, not only did Zelensky warn Poland that Russia were going to invade there to stop the arms getting through to Ukraine, Keith Kellogg secretly was jumping on board a plane at the same time as this drone attack went on in Poland. Keith Kellogg was mounting a plane to go to Poland. This guy, who Trump quite rightly got rid of because he is so pro-Ukraine and a war hawk, Trump got rid of him from the peace process. This guy is a danger, as are many of the war hawks that are in and around President Trump. And thankfully, President Trump isn't buying into this.
No, he's not. And also, it's worth noting these drones are made of polystyrene and cardboard with a small petrol engine on the back. These are not the ones that can carry Hellfire missiles or anything like that. This is a very, very simple drone. And, well, Warren, I think we know that this is just to try, dare I say it, maybe it's Ukraine that launched them. Could that be a possibility?
Well, 38% of the polls think the Ukrainians did it. 34% think the Russians did it. They're the thought. 34% that don't know these can only fly 700 kilometers. Many people are saying NATO did it. Some are saying, and of course the Ukrainians changed their mind straight away when they found out they could only do 700 kilometers. NATO and everybody went, "Oops, we'll say that they've been launched from Belarus." So they did that, and of course Belarus have not launched any at all. And the Polish have now moved half their army to the border with Belarus. So it is everybody trying to, while Trump and Putin are trying to get some peace. This is everybody basically trying to kickstart or give another jolt of jingoism to this war, which is already lost.
Dear, oh dear. Well, my next story, former President Jair Bolsonaro has been found guilty of plotting a military coup. Three of the five Supreme Court justices convicted the 70-year-old of leading a conspiracy to stay in power after losing the 2022 election to Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva. The plot didn't gain enough military support, but did lead to the storming of government buildings in Brasilia on January 8, 2023. Bolsonaro was convicted on multiple charges, including an attempted coup and leading an armed criminal organisation, and faces decades in prison. Sentencing is set for Friday.
Yes, one of those, isn't it? You sort of get the military storm the parliament, and it doesn't work out. You are what they call bang to rights, Paul.
That you are. That you are, Warren. What's your next story, buddy?
The next story that we had is a very strange one indeed, but quite amusing. What we've got is Ursula von der Leyen, and of course, Trump has already turned around and said that it's completely useless, and of course has nothing to do with her if he can help it. What she's done now is she's now giving Ukraine an 8 billion loan. Now she's giving this from something called the ERA, which is actually the money that the Russians have in frozen assets. Now she's giving Ukraine this loan, and she's saying that the rest of Europe have got to pay for it if it all goes wrong. Now she's giving Ukraine this 8 billion loan out of money that is frozen, as I say, frozen Russian assets. But here's the kicker: this money is going to be taken off of Russia and used for war reparations against Ukraine. I think the Russians might have something to say about that when it comes to wanting their 330 billion back.
Oh, they're definitely going to have something to say. And also, this money's supposed to be used, if it is for reparations, after the war. They're using it to kill Russians.
Yes, exactly that. So they're using Russia's money to kill Russians. And here's the weird thing about this: they have dipped into this like there's no tomorrow. The interest is long gone, and they've been dipping into the principal. Our sources, our really good sources inside Belgium, which is literally where the money is being held, says that there's only 76 billion left. There's going to come a reckoning when America have walked away from this Ukrainian war, and the Russians turn around to Europe and say, "Where's our money?"
That's not going to be good, is it? Well, my next story, like the decaying carcass that is Starmer's government, he sacked Peter Mandelson as ambassador to the US following revelations about his friendship with the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Emails show Mandelson sent supportive messages to Epstein, including urging him to challenge his first conviction. The Foreign Office says these messages reveal a closer relationship than previously known. Mandelson, once dubbed the Prince of Darkness in UK politics, has expressed deep regret, calling his association with Epstein a serious mistake. Oh, I'm sure Prince Andrew's saying exactly the same thing as you.
Yeah, absolutely. Peter Mandelson has always been a massively divisive figure in UK politics. He was there was a comedian, Harry Enfield, who once turned around and said, in the name of when he was in the Labour Party, he said, in the name of God, go! You're absolutely ghastly." Was his literally his take on that. We've also got to have a look at how the fun NATO is. When these polystyrene drones or these foam-filled drones, people calling them the foam drones, were launched, of course they are decoy drones, and NATO, of course, took to the air in a mad panic and shot them all down. Shot 3 out of 19 down. They're claiming there was 19 in the air. Some are claiming 12. Some are claiming 8. But they shot 3 of these down. And we're going to have a look at one of them in a minute. But here's the rub: is the missiles that they used to shoot down these $3,000 drones cost 2.8 million.
Oh, they've learnt nothing from Ukraine, have they? They
No.
know how to overspend.
And here, just for your delectation, of course, everybody's saying that this is obviously a mass thing, and they were launched from Ukraine anyway because Russia couldn't possibly have launched them. There's one that they supposedly shot down, fully intact, on top of a chicken coop in Poland.
Oh, there's definitely some sort of false flag event going on over there, isn't there? Right, my next story. The FBI has launched what President Trump calls a virtual manhunt for the killer of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Kirk was shot dead while speaking at Utah Valley University, with the gunman firing from a rooftop before escaping. The FBI has released images of a person of interest and is offering a $100,000 reward for information leading to an arrest. Kirk, founder of Turning Point USA, and a close Trump ally, is being remembered as a powerful voice for America's youth.
Yeah, he absolutely should be. And my last story is one that is quite sad. We all know about Irina, the Ukrainian refugee who horribly got stabbed to death while 5 people sat there and did very little. There was only right at the end when she was bleeding out that there was a problem. And of course, shall we say, her assassin has turned around and said that the voices told him to do it at first and everything else. Then he has turned around now because he's trying to avoid the electric chair. So he's trying to come out with stories that find him clinically insane. So he can't be given the electric chair. He's turning around now and saying that she was reading my thoughts, which of course has cut no ice whatsoever because literally she'd only just sat down for like 5 seconds before he pulled out the knife and started attacking.
Do you know what worries me is that I was clinically insane is the excuse with so much of this.
Yes.
It's absolutely phenomenal. I'm sorry, but that crime is so heinous. Do we dare give him a chance to, don't know, go live a cushy life in an insane asylum for quite a while?
No, none at all, because you know what will happen. There'll be some Soros-driven Democrat uh, attorney general who will then get in and release him to an open prison where he gets out at weekends, and he'll go and do the same thing again.
Mm. It's very sad. The fact that they're allowing him to even try and plead insanity blows my
Yes.
mind. Well, my last story of the day, Warren. Ghana has become the fifth African nation to accept deportees under a US third country migration deal. President John Mahama confirmed that 14 migrants, including several Nigerians and a Gambian, arrived this week. He said Ghana would only receive West African nationals under ECOWAS free movement rules. The move comes as US Ghana relations face new tariffs and visa restrictions, but Mahama insisted ties remain intact. Rights groups, however, warn these agreements risk turning Africa into a dumping ground for US deportees.
It is a strange thing, isn't it? Because Trump's not something that I will applaud Trump on 100% is trying to get rid of people who shouldn't be there. And the people who are moaning the loudest are normally Democrats who are getting very upset that they're not getting their lawns cut. But they're quite happy for people to go completely potty because they don't live in that area where, of course, the worst violence is. And, of course, they're only kicking off because they employ people very, very cheap labour, of course, and don't pay them a decent living wage. So always round, I think Trump has done a good thing.
Yeah, I think 100%. Trump's policies are working. And I don't
Yes.
care what anyone says. He's closed the border. A border that was bringing cheap fentanyl in, child trafficking, terrorists, gang members. I'm sorry, common sense says that's the right thing to do, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you're talking about the amount of children that get trafficked through there, left, right, and centre, you're talking anywhere close to 240,000 coming through the Mexican border, maybe even more. And of course, many of those go disappear. So it is absolutely the right thing to do. It may not seem humane, but it actually is.
Yes, very much so, Warren. Well, that was the news you missed on the 12th of September 2025. We look forward to seeing you all over on charlieward.com because Saturday is going to be a big Insiders Club. We are going to deep dive the Charlie Kirk assassination, and we've got Chaz Carter coming on as well. And we are going to be absolutely digging deep into all of this that's gone on this week. So take care, God bless, see you all soon. Bye now.
Bye bye.